Good evening, and welcome to the regular meeting for the Lawrence City Council. Today is Thursday, November 7, 2024. Pursuant to Chapter 20 of the Act of 2022, this meeting will be hybrid, allowing participation both in person in the City Council chambers as well as remotely. Anybody that requests the Zoom link for this meeting was provided through the City Clerk. And this meeting is also being transmitted through the Lawrence City Council YouTube page, as well as Lawrence City Council Facebook page. Roll call, Madam Clerk, please.
Councilor Levy.
Present.
Councilor LaPlante.
Present.
Councilor Luzon.
Present.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Present.
Councilor Santiago.
Present.
Councilor Marmol.
Present.
Councilor Selena Reyes is noted as present via remote participation.
Present.
Council Vice President Infante.
Present.
Council President Rodriguez.
Present. Please join me for a moment of silence in memory of the singer, songwriter, and producer, Achilles Knowledge 2K5 Espinosa. Please join me on the Pledge of Allegiance. Councilors, we have a few minutes to approve today, and those minutes are as following. We have the special minutes from meetings on October 28 and October 30, and we also have a meeting, the minutes for the regular meeting from April 30, 2024. All special meeting, April 30, October 28, and October 30. Can I get a motion to
So
approve
move.
these minutes? There's a motion on the floor, properly second discussion. I hear none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. Now we're going to proceed with public participation. The rules for public participation are as follows. You have to refer to this council as a whole, not to any individual councilors. You're going to have 2.5 minutes, and at the 2-minute mark, you're going to hear sounds or something indicating that you still have 30 seconds to speak. At the 2 minutes and 30 seconds, your time have ended. We have a few people that have requested for public participation today, and the first person that we have on the list is Jessica Anders. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, councilors. My name is Jessica Anders. I live at 3 Jackson Terrace in Lawrence, and I'm here to speak to you today about item number 506/24, which is the appropriation transfer to support Lawrence Community Works DyeWorks project. I just want to tell you a little bit more about this project. I think there was some information in your packets. I'm actually not here to talk to you about housing today. This is a complete economic development project. It's a 100% commercial and community space. It's going to be an expansion site for La Fruteria Supermarket, which we all know is a locally owned grocery store that caters to our awesome city of Lawrence. It's going to be also an expansion site for the Greater Lawrence Family Health Center, bringing some needed services in dentistry and optometry to the community in an area that's like a burgeoning residential neighborhood. And most exciting for us, I think, is that it's also going to be a new home for the Movement City Youth Program, which is our own youth program that has a long track record of success and a waiting list, and we're going to be able to expand into the building. And I just want to let you know that after me in public participation are several youth members of Movement City who have come to speak to you. They did come to the Budget and Finance Committee meeting and speak to the councilors who were there, but they wanted to present to the whole council and let you know about how they feel about the project. So that will be happening. They'll get up after me, and then they have to scoot because they actually have to get back to their programming. I just want to say a couple of things that are important about this project. As you know, although LCW is a nonprofit, we do pay taxes to the city on our real estate projects, and this project is no exception. It will be paying more than $50,000 a year into the tax base of the city, which within 5 years' time will more than repay the investment that we're asking for, and then will continue to generate income for the city. It will also bring probably close to 40 new jobs, possibly more than that, into the city, and jobs that are accessible for our residents. And so we're very excited about this. We really hope that you will approve it tonight. And I just want to thank you for all the city's support of our projects in the past. And this will be the last piece of redeveloping that
Thank you.
area of the Mill District. So thanks.
Thank you. The next person is Marcelo Perez Guzman. Name and address for the record, please. Name and address for the record.
My name is Marcelo Perez Guzman. I live 41 Ohio Avenue here in Lawrence. I emigrated about 6.5 years ago, and I've been a part of Movement City around 6 years ago. Now I'm a teaching assistant at the program. And being an immigrant, I was very sad by leaving my country and really leaving my friends and my family behind. So when I came here to Lawrence, I felt frankly apathetic for, wanting to get involved and calling this city my home, right? And once I went into Movement City. They provided me with a space where I could let my frustrations out and kind of express myself creatively. And they've made me feel heard and comforted, which allowed me to kind of integrate myself into the community more. And now that I am a teaching assistant, I am able to see this a lot with a lot of the kids that come by. Like, for example, a kid that came in around 2 years ago, he had just moved from the Dominican Republic as well, and he was very shy, didn't really want to talk to anybody, and he kind of gravitated to me for, having similar experiences than him. So with him, I had a lot of conversations with him, and I made sure that his feelings were being heard, and I even helped him write a song about all of the things that he was feeling growing up and moving to the U.S. And now he is a very big social butterfly in the space, and we all love him. And long story short, I just think that Movement City is a place where youth that are not willing to be in the community call Lawrence
2 minute
their
mark.
home. And yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person that we have on public participation is Kiara Gutierrez. Name and address for the record, please.
Hello, my name is Keira Gutierrez, and I live in Lawrence. I love Movement City because it offers a place for kids from the ages of 10 to 18 to express their creativity, and it also offers the many opportunities like this one to become a leader and build a resume. This new building will provide a safe space for every member who joins. For the ones who need to occupy their time, and to keep other children off the streets who obviously need a place to go or to feel that they need to express how they are. And with this new building, we will build a legacy and a community of successful youth through academics and a sense of belonging. Thank you.
Justin Borromet, name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Justin Borromet. I live at 27 Perkins CT. Movement City, When I first started out, I was a shy kid. I would always like stay in my corner, not talk to anybody. And along the years of going to Movement City, it's like opened me up to like talk to new people, talk in front of the council, and overall do like events that help out the city overall. And it's also taught me how to like work with financials, how to further my career, what to do after high school. And with the new building, I feel like with the bigger space, it'll allow more kids and teenagers like me to open themselves up and learn what I've learned. And I'd like to see that happen. And, yeah.
Thank you so much. The next person is Franny Gomez. Name and address for the record, please.
Hola, me llamo Franny Gómez, vivo en Lawrence, Massachusetts. Estoy en Movement City por 2 años y medio y es un gran placer estar en Movement City. He estado en todos los talleres y yo he bailado, rapeado, he hecho arte tradicional y arte y diseño gráfico. Me gusta mucho Movement City porque me ayuda a expresar todos mis sentimientos y me ayuda y me da el valor de hacer muchas cosas más. Le doy las gracias a Movement City porque he perdido la vergüenza de hablar en público y me motiva mucho. Yo pienso que necesitamos un nuevo espacio para que los niños como yo vengan a expresar sus sentimientos y puedan dar lo mejor de ellos como en sí y perder algunos miedos que tengan. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person is Mandy Guevara. Name and address for the record, please.
My name is Mandy Guevara. I live at 19 Adams Street in Lawrence. I am a lifelong resident of the city, now a member of the board for Lawrence Community Works. I'm here representing our board, which is made up of mostly residents elected by our members. We, the board and members, are very excited about the Dye Works project. This project will revitalize the city. It will bring in new opportunities, new services for both youth and adults. And, I'm here hoping to get your support to bring this project to fruition. I do have to leave after this, but Jessica will be here if you guys should have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person that we have is H. Mali. Name and address for the record, please.
Humayun Mali, 53 Chester Street. Good evening, honorable members. We, the Laurentians, support Lawrence Police Officers Union and Superior Officers Union. Lawrence Police, this union of pride and honor with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Chief Bonilla doing excellent job to protect our citizens. Lawrence Police, thank you for keeping Lawrence a safe city. Our DPW employees and leadership deserve the best pay raise and compensation. We are proud of you. We support our great inspection department and the union. We must hire more inspectors. Lawrence Public School, with the impeccable leadership by Honorable Ralph Guerra, moving forward. Lawrence teachers, you are number one. We support your great union. Lawrence Public School, with a budget of $260 million, must pay the best compensation for our teachers, paraprofessional employees, and cafeteria workers. Please help our homeless population in this important Thanksgiving season. Lawrence always is strong. Lawrence always unite. We demand the best contract for our awesome firefighters. We are united in support of Lawrence Police Union, the wonderful union police department Department be the best example of protect and serve. We pray for the safety of all first responder and police officers in the nation. Lawrence Police, thank you for excellent job. We wish the best Thanksgiving for all first responder and Lawrence police officers. Thank you.
The next person that we have is Richard Russell, Councilor Russell.
Good evening, councilors. Richard Russell, 34 Cross Street. First things first. Hats off to any of the councilors that managed to attend some of the recent events in the city. Your presence was appreciated. And to those that missed these events, your lack of attendance was noted by many. It is interesting to note that Agenda Item 14824, Home Rule Petition to change the makeup of the school committee, was entered into the State House as House Bill 5468 on October 31st. Happy trick or treat, where the citizens got tricked and the powers got treated. Now on to some political sarcasm with a musical background. With a constant turnover in the mayor's office of the chief of staff position, which song would be better exit music? Fats Domino's, I'm Walking, or Nancy Sinatra's, These Boots Are Made for Walking? Concerning the exit strategy of this position, can the city scrape money up for a construction of an emergency slide from the mayor's suite to a waiting vehicle for the departing chief of staff to beat feet out of the area before the excrement hits the rotary oscillator? Also, continuing with a musical theme concerning the dedication of street corners with commemorative signs, could the lyrics to Roger Miller's song be changed to street corners for sale for you, monuments for your fans? I apologize for digressing that way. This brings up several other issues. How long should a person be deceased before being honored? And two, why haven't other Lawrencians such as Leonard Bernstein and Robert Goulet been so honored? Last but not least, what is the status of the search for our new permanent police chief? And also, what's the status of the search committee for that position? Just remember, the philosophy around here must be no news is not good news. As always, I thank you for the time to address these important issues. Thank you.
Thank you. The next person that we have is Rafael Guzman. Name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, Council. My name is Rafael Guzman. I live on Beaconsfield Street, and I've been a businessman here for a long time. I took the freedom to bring two folks that are going to support what are we going to talk about. Randy?
Randy Mejia, owner of 75 Manchester Street, La Fruteria.
Yakari Noah, 142 Andover Street, Lawrence, Massachusetts.
And as a team, we're here to support item number 43024, which is an amendment to the Housing Incentive Plan. We support the amendment, and we kindly ask the City Council to really reconsider and bring this amendment over to our neighborhood, the old Modern Mill Complex, where La Fruteria is located, as well as Yakari and I working to develop the area. So we support it 100%, and we ask the council to do the same. Thank you.
The next person that we have is Lawrence Hester. Name and address for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Lawrence Hester, 171 Abbott Street, Lawrence, Mass. First of all, through the council, I want to commend the council for passing Abbott Street as resident parking. It took a little bit of time to get the signs up, but it's done. As one of the councilors would say, we went a little bit first, but let me give you the input. I'm retired, so I'm around my neighborhood a lot. A lot of people don't spend time at their homes in Lawrence. I do, and I've researched it. It's going to work just with the signs up alone. People that live on Abbott Street now, in my block between Phillips and Abbott, are parking there every day. They're ecstatic. This is even without the enforcement. So what's happening is the people that don't live on Abbott Street, they're going other streets, okay? And I suggest we go full force with this. I'm going to be looking at a few other ordinances. When I was here before with the ordinance with the council of our district, I wanted it all the way around. Most cities and towns, Lowell, Malden, Alston, all have it, and it works. And I think the $2 fee is minimal. I'd pay $15 for a car parking space in front of my house. I think it's well worth it. So I just want to commend you all on that. The other thing I want to talk with you about, open up your eyes, please. Please, I say, okay? Look what's going. We have a new housing act. People are spinning on this. What I'm going to do, I'll be at the next council because I'm going to ask you one question through the council president. You'll have 10 people reading an ordinance. Do you think 10 people are going to be on the same page with that ordinance? Well, take it from an expert that reads the building code that'll send you to one section to the other. You may think you know it, but if you don't go to the other section, you don't know it. And that's how you're tested. Because what you're supposed to be able to do is give people answers. We have people now, look around the city. With this new ordinance, they're already chopping in attics. Because if people going on the radio say, this is the best way to do it, come in and do an attic. Well, look at our zoning. You can only do it over 25% more. The 40A, 43A, accessory dwelling unit, doesn't mean units. It goes into a different classification. We need to go back to the rental program like most cities and towns do, okay, where you do, when a landlord in these big multiple buildings, because if there are multiple buildings, that comes under the local inspector. Not a building, that's under the Mass State Building Code. That rental ordinance needs to be repealed.
Thank you so
okay?
much, Mr. Hoster.
Yes.
Thank you. Your time is up.
Come back again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. We are going to. Sir, your time is up. The next person, we have no more public participation. All these names are going to be submitted for the record. Excuse me. Order, please. You're asking for respect. You got to respect the council. Thank you so much. The next. All right, we have no public hearing tonight, and we have no communication from the mayor's office, the city attorney, or the city, any city officials. We're going to jump right away to our committee report, and the first committee report that we have is Budget and Finance Committee. Madam Vice President Infante, you are the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. Please provide us with a report for item 45324.
Thank you. Item 45324, authorization to expend $300,000 for the Municipal Clean or Efficient Energy Initiative of the Merrimack Valley Renewal from the Massachusetts Attorney General was sent up as a committee report, and I make that as a formal motion.
There's a motion to accept this as a committee report. Can you hear a second? Properly second. Discussion on the committee report.
Discussion.
Madam Vice President Infante.
Thank you, Council President. The committee had questions regarding the actual position and the responsibilities of this position in terms of the clean energy efficiency aspect that we found the city engineer couldn't actually answer. So we requested the DPW to be here, DPW director to be here, but I'm seeing Mr. Jose Javier is here in his place, so if you can come up, Mr. Javier. Through you, Council President.
Yeah, sure. Madam Vice President, it is important to recognize that the position was approved in the past, so just for the record.
Yes, yes, so the committee was, and I saw the city clerk's email, so the committee was aware of that. But we had specifics, like what actual projects are in the pipeline that this position will be helping with. Because this grant, in general, the majority of it is to cover the salary. So we just want to make sure that there is that we have actual projects in the pipeline and what those are and how it's going to help the city moving forward.
Okay, good evening, Council President and Council members. Jose Javier, 200 Common Street, DPW, Capital. I came on behalf of Director Jaime. Last minute, he had a family situation that he couldn't attend, so he asked me to step in for him. So I might not have all the answers that you guys might ask, but I'll provide you with the best that I can. As far as I know, the energy manager position, what is being asked is for authorization, as I have some notes here, the authorization to fund the position that was requested, it's been about a year and a half, that Anil, the energy consultant, been asking for from the DOER, the Department of Energy and Resources. And I believe that, don't quote me, the position will be covering this. That position will be working closely with the Merrimack Valley Renewable Fund Advisory Committee. They are the ones that overlook those, overlooking and managing what is from the gas explosion, or from those funds that were rewarded to the city. So this position will be working with them, and they'll be doing projects like the energy projects with some of the schools and some of the city buildings and that kind of things, like City Hall and et cetera. But I think mainly this has all been done before, as far as I understand it, and this position has been already gone through. We're just looking for the authorization. And if I could add, councilors, is to fund the position for 2 years, including benefits. That's what the CUFA was going to be here tonight, but he wasn't able to come in, and he would have been able to explain that better. It's to fund the position, and the funds are coming in from the AG's office and DOER.
Yeah, through you, Council President, just for the record, we do have it here as part of the paperwork of the grant. $240,000 will go towards the salary of the supervisor, and $60,000 will go, which is the 20%, would go towards fringe benefits, which we did ask during the Budget and Finance Committee meeting about that, and we got the answer to that. I'm not sure if any of my other colleagues on the committee had any questions, but I know that was the main question that the committee.
Essentially, this position, it's a grade C position, which is a non-union pay, on the non-union pay scale. The salary range anywhere between $81,900 to $124,800. And it's a grant position, and the grant is going to cover, like you mentioned, 2 years worth of salary, including benefits. Any other questions for that authorization to spend this money? I hear none, so at this point I call the question. So all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? That was for the committee report, yeah.
Council President and
Yes.
through Zoom.
Yes, Councilor Reyes. We're gonna ask for a motion now to approve the funds. We just went through the committee report.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. So if you want to speak, we will definitely open the floor for you. Councilors, can I get a motion for this matter?
Council President,
Councilor
I believe because we do have an individual who's online right now, every vote has got to be a roll call vote.
Yes, roll call, Madam Clerk. You're right.
Sorry, backwards. Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
That's to accept the committee report. Councilor Marmol?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor LaPlante? Yes. Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Councilor, now we're going to entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
There is a motion to approve, properly second discussion. I hear none, so I'll call the questions. Roll call, please.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol?
Yes.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. So the next item from the Budget and Finance Committee is item 54324. Madam Vice President Infante.
Item 503-24, fiscal year 2025 property tax classification. Public hearing was sent up as a committee report, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion to accept that as a committee report, properly second discussion.
Discussion?
This is to accept that as a committee
This-
report, and then eventually we will look for to order a public hearing.
Discussion.
Council Vice President Infante.
Thank you. I just want to ensure that, I know for this item, Councilor Luzon had some questions or concerns about us approving this prior to getting the state's recommendation. I just want to make sure that she's all set or has any questions.
Yeah, I mean, Councilor Luzon, do you have a question?
Thank you, Council President. I guess, I know he answered all the questions. He has mentioned that it's a procedure that is, has been done like that for years, and he answered all my questions.
So definitely. Any questions on the committee report? I hear none, so all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any nays? Roll call.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Marmal?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Now I'm looking for a motion to order a public hearing.
Motion to order a public hearing.
For the specific date to be set, it should be November 3rd on the next meeting, December 3rd.
Motion to order a public hearing for our meeting on December 3rd, 2024.
Second.
There's a motion to order a public hearing on that specific date. A properly second discussion. There is none. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmal?
Yes.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez. I vote yes. Madam Vice President Infante, item 50424.
Item 50524, appropriation transfer in the amount of $350,000 from
No,
the.
item 504.
Oh, I'm sorry. Item 504-24, appropriation transfer in the amount of $40,000 from the stabilization reserve to the judgment account for litigation settlement is being brought up to the full council as a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There is a motion to approve.
Second.
Properly second. Discussion? No discussion. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilor Levy? Yes. Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmal?
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Motion carries. Item 50524, Madam Vice President Infante.
Item 505-24, appropriation transfer in the amount of $350,000 from the stabilization reserve to legal services account is being brought up as a committee report, and I make that as a formal motion.
Motion to, there is a motion
Second.
to accept it as a committee report. Properly second discussion on the committee report.
Discussion.
Madam Vice President Infante.
Thank you. Through you, Council President. We had the first assistant city attorney with us during that meeting. There were some questions. I don't 100% remember the questions for this item, but there were questions from Councilor Luzon, and I'm not sure if he
Yes, I
relayed the
don't-
message to you.
He did, and he
Okay.
responded to the email. The questions were, you wanted an itemization of what this money would be for. First of all, it's not an itemization item. This is, because of the way the budget is done, we can't pay bills because they store the money in one account, and we have to have it transferred to the other account. So what we've done here is we've anticipated what the cost will be for the remainder of the year. And we've asked that we transfer the money from one account to the other account to pay for it. Now, what this pays for, as you may or may not remember, when I was appointed city attorney, I promised you that we would stop using outside counsel. Since the date of that, we have not referred any of our litigation cases to outside counsel. But there are still cases that, many of these cases take 5-6 years to resolve. So there are still cases that are out with outside counsel. And as a result, there are expenses that we have to pay. We have to pay the attorneys, we have to pay for depositions, we have to pay for experts, we have to pay many of these things. And the people that we have aren't used to, shall we say, the city way of paying, which is you submit a bill and you get paid 5 months later. So this is to allow them to get paid in a timely manner. We have outstanding bills for depositions, for experts, and some of them are what you would not expect. Some of the cases are so complex that we have to pay to have files stored, and I'm not talking about boxes. I'm talking about in the cloud, experts to hold them, and there are thousands upon thousands of documents. So what we're looking here is just to transfer this to the legal services account so that if we do get bills in and bills that we already have, that we'll be able to pay them, but we've anticipated this would be the cost throughout the year, this is not current bills today.
Any questions, Councilor LaPlante?
Through you. You inherited a lot of cases, and you just testified that they were complex cases and things that have been around for a while. I don't need to know the entire list of them. This is not the place for that, but I think it'd be good for me to have a basic understanding of the big case, the most gnarly case that's lasted as long and has been as cumbersome and burdensome financially to us. I don't need an entire case report on it, but just what is it, so we have an idea, right? Because I have an idea on it.
I've suggested that I have all of these at my office. I really, a lot of times, don't want to make them public because but what I can tell you right now is that there is a case against the city with 21 plaintiffs, each seeking $1 million apiece. So that's a pretty complex case. So yes, but anybody looking, if you want to know the exact cases, because if I give you something, it's public knowledge, and I don't want to give something that can help the other side. So that's why I'm just telling you, but I'm hiding nothing. Any one of you individually want to come to my office is always open. I'll show you the case. I'll show you, and I'm not suggesting that we're going to get hit with these. You know, there's a lot of people stub their toe outside and sue you for $1 million. So don't be scared by the numbers. It just, you know, it's the complexity of it. The fact that there are 21 people makes it a lot more complex than if there's one person suing over a contract.
Thank you, Council President. Just only one question, because we mentioned 504, but also we are talking at the same time with 505?
I believe 504 was passed just a minute ago, a vote.
Because that is like, the first time I don't,
Yeah.
one is the $40,000 that I already passed.
504 is an actual case in which we just settled. Without going into too much detail, let me just tell you that the damages that the person was asserting, they had over $70,000 in medical damages. That's medical damages. That's not pain and suffering. Those are actual damages. And we were able to get this case settled for $40,000. So that's the case that the $40,000 went to.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, through you. I mean, going back to colleague Mr. LaPlante's question, what I would like to know is what is our success rate? I hear all the cases, and also I hear we settle most of the time. Are we trying to win these cases, or we don't want to go to court and we just settle and pay money just to do that? So eventually,
I'll give you a case that's just recently settled, and you tell me whether you think this is good for the city or not for the city. We had O'Neill Park. We had somebody do work there. We paid them $300,000 to work on the park. They didn't complete the work, okay? We did not go to trial. Now, they built the park. There was deficiencies in there, and we settled for $200,000. We got $200,000. So when you hear settlement, don't always think like we're giving money away. Settlement is what they want, what we want, and what's good for the city. We don't settle cases to settle cases. We have tons of cases out there, and I just recently sent a memo because someone was suggesting that we had lost a case that isn't even close to being near the end of litigation. But I'm happy to, any case you want to know, I'll tell you where it is, tell you what the likelihood is. In court, as long as I have been the city attorney, we have not lost a case.
and I appreciate that, but this is the first time in the 30-something years that I've been here that you say we settle and they pay us. Every time I hear settle, is that we paying. And that's why I asked the question. Thank you.
It always depends what it is. For instance, some of our cases right now are going to be very familiar with you. We might settle, but we didn't pay them. We have some cases where we have not paid people over $1 million. So if we had paid the contract, we wouldn't have the $1 million. So when we settle, it's how much money we're making. So even if I were to pay $400,000 on that contract, that's $600 less than we were supposed to pay. So I can explain settlement on any case and just tell you. I mean, some of them are clearly settlement cases. Some of them are a person sues, they're going to get $100,000, you know. Without going into specifics, I'll give you the example. Police officer takes a turn and runs over someone in a crosswalk, okay? That's a lawsuit. That's going to happen. Now, why are we settling? You're not going to win that case. You've run over someone in a crosswalk. The liability is 100%. Now, that is not an actual case, just so you know, no, anybody gets scared. But, so what we do is we work that case so that they don't get $100,000. And so when I come to you and say, we're going to settle that for $40,000, it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing because it's 100% liability.
Any other questions in regard to item 505? All right, I hear none. This is the committee report, right? All right, I'll call the questions. Roll call on the committee report, please.
To accept the committee report, Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Yes, gotcha. Councilor Marmal.
Yes.
Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Luzon.
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante.
Yes.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante.
Yes.
Councilor Rodriguez.
Yes.
And Council, let me say thank you for both of them. I didn't get up for the first one, but just thank you for you both on both.
Thank you. Yep. This is the committee report.
Motion to approve.
Can I hear a motion?
Second.
Motion to approve, properly second by Councilor De Rosario. Any questions on that, the approval? I hear none. Roll call, please.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante.
Yes.
Councilor Luzon.
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Councilor Marmal.
Yes.
Councilor Selena Reyes.
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante.
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez.
Yes, motion carries. Item, Madam Vice President and Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, item of 50624.
Item 506-24, appropriation transfer in the amount of $250,000 from the ARPA/free cash to new account to support Lawrence Community Works redevelopment of the Dye Works building is being sent up with a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
Second.
Did it been second by Councilor Reyes? Any questions on this item?
Discussion.
Councilor Vice President Infante.
Thank you. I don't have my city laptop with me tonight, but during the Budget and Finance Committee meeting, I did pull out, there is a web page on this project with a lot more information and data points about the community and just of the project itself that I read out loud during the meeting, but I don't have it with me today. So any counselors, if you want more information on this, there is an entire web page on the project that is very detailed and good information to have in general.
Any questions? Any other questions? Councilor LaPlante?
Thank you, Council President. So I believe during the public participation, somebody was mentioning there were no housing units. I wanted to call, I believe Miss Fink is the person from the city who's shepherding this. So I just have two questions for Miss Fink. I just want to confirm that this is all, just so we hear it from the city official as well, that there's no housing involved in this. This is strictly, there's a restaurant, there's the youth
Movement City.
organization,
Yep.
yeah, Movement City.
Yes, that is correct. There are no housing units
No
in this
housing
project.
units over there, great. The other thing too, I'm gonna put you on the hot seat. If you don't have it, you can give it to me later. There's an appropriation transfer, $250,000 from the ARPA free cash. Do you happen to know how much is remaining in the ARPA?
I do.
Could you tell me what that number is?
I will.
There is, for this transfer, $735,000 that's unallocated.
That's before the transfer or
Before
after?
the transfer, before the transfer.
So after the transfer, that's minus 250,000
Correct.
if it's approved this evening?
Yes.
And I thought that we voted, and apparently not for, I thought all the ARPA monies, or nearly all the ARPA monies were expended for a variety of different programs throughout the city. So did this fund grow because other people didn't grab or didn't accept money, or was this always the amount that was there, the
This was
735?
always the amount that was
That was left
unallocated,
over.
yes.
Got it. Thank you.
It is, it is, councilors, any questions? It is important to recognize that the ARPA funds were allocated from the federal government, $58 million to the city of Lawrence on May 11, 2021. Since then, this money has been allocated to different projects throughout the community, economic development, different organizations, nonprofit organizations, different business, and
City
many other
departments.
things. Different projects from the economic development perspective, and a lot others that people can get information on any of those projects if they want to through a FOIA request asking the city clerk if they're looking forward to get any type of information in regard to that. And I wanted to put that on the record for transparency and for the public to know. Any questions on regard to this matter?
Council President.
Councilor Rosario.
Through you, Council President, just a comment. It is great to finally see help going to a businesswoman, which Marisol, who has grown her business as La Fruteria with her kids, basically by themselves. And finally, we're able to help these people to continue to grow. They provide a great service to the city, and see those young people out here telling us how great that program is. It's who can say no to this allocation of the money? So I'm all in for it.
Any other questions in regard to this project or to this allocation? I hear none. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilor Reyes.
Yes, wait.
Councilor Reyes, to approve the motion? Want to come back to her?
Yeah, wait.
Yes.
Perfect, perfect. Councilor Mamo?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Motion carries. Congratulations.
Thank you, councilors.
The next item, Madam Vice President Infante and the Chair of the Budget and Finance Committee, item 51324.
Item 513-24, the authorization to expend $377 for the PSAP 9/11 support and incentive grant was being brought up as a favorable recommendation, and I make that as a formal motion.
There's a motion on the table, properly second, discussion. I hear none. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Councilor Levy?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol?
Yes.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. There is one item on the Housing Committee councilors that I'm gonna have to request myself, so I'm gonna go to the budget and to ordinance first, and that way when that item comes, I can stay out. The Ordinance Committee, item 35824, the Chair of the Budget of the Ordinance Committee, Councilor LaPlante.
Document 35824, request to amend the zoning map from R2 to B1 at 341 South Broadway. The committee set this up with a unanimous vote to withdraw, and I make that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion to withdraw? There's a motion to withdraw, properly second, discussion. I hear none. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any nay? Roll call, please.
Councilor Reyes?
Yes.
Councilor Marmol?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon? Yes. Counselor LaPlante?
Yes.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. The Housing Committee, we have two items on the Housing Committee. Item 43024, Madam Chair from the Housing Committee, Council Marmon.
Item number 43024, amend the city's housing development incentive plan, extending the proposed housing development zone to include more city neighborhoods and amend other aspects of plan. This item was discussed during the Housing Committee, and it was decided to bring this item up to full council as a committee report without a recommendation. We do have our land use planner, Daniel McCarthy, here before us, that could speak on behalf of this item in greater detail, and I submit that in the form of a motion.
So the motion is to accept this item as a committee report. Properly second by Councilor Reyes. Councilor
Yes.
Santiago, sorry. So any questions on the committee report for item 43024? Do you want to expand the opportunity to Mr. McCarthy?
Discussion, yes, I would like.
All right, so to accept the committee
All set?
report, we don't know how the item is going to go, so I mean, if there is no question from the councilors, roll call.
This is to accept the committee report. Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor LaPlante?
Yes.
Counselor Luzon? Yes. Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Santiago?
Yes.
Counselor Marmal?
Yes.
Counselor Selena Reyes?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes. Now we have the item here. What is the motion?
Motion to approve?
There's a motion to approve.
Second.
Properly second. Discussion.
Discussion.
Councilor LaPlante.
Just to reiterate, the housing component on this, it is called the Housing Development Incentive Plan. So if this is successful, if this is adopted this evening and it's successful, what does that mean for housing? What's the impact on housing in the city? Through you, Mr. President.
Well, the city hopes that it'll develop more housing in certain parts of the city. The program's intended to provide a tax incentive and tax credits from the state to develop existing buildings that are in demise, old warehouses, things of that nature that are going to be redeveloped and reused for, in part for housing. It's also one of the few incentives for market rate housing. We've had this program for several years in the downtown area and on the Merrimack Street corridor. As part of that, it is initiated. It was approximately a year ago, or more than a year ago, that I put this on the agenda to move this to the Arlington Mills Smart Growth Overlay District as well. There's more than 100,000 square feet of undeveloped building. I think earlier today, several of the property owners were here before you talking in favor of this, and the city sees this as a good incentive towards developing housing and incentivizing people who want to invest their money in the city to work with us. So we think it's a very strong program. It's limited to the Arlington Mills District, which is an area that's bound by Broadway, the Manchester and Lake Street, the rail trail, and the Methuen line. So most of us refer to it as the old Malden Mills area. So that's where this section would be. So I can answer any other questions that you might have, but to answer your question, yes, it will have an impact that it will in the amount of housing in the city.
Can you repeat what you just said?
Excuse me?
The last part of what you just said.
It will increase the housing in the city, the amount of housing units in the city.
Council President.
I am finished with the question, but I would like to reserve my rights for later. I'm looking for one piece of information that I'm struggling for right now, so I'll later.
Thank you, through you, Council President. To me, it's amazing that this finally hit this area. And it will be a shame that they don't get the benefits the people on Merrimack Street got back in the days, which they're gonna come off next year and they're gonna start paying, but they got it before the Arlington neighborhood. And the people in the Arlington neighborhood have been fighting to get this incentive. But because there's already development somewhere else, now it's gonna go to look outrageous on this area that has been waiting to be developed for so long. Once again, I would put my resolve on this, which is might be benefit the owner of the fruteria with her kids, put in her own money to fix the streets, and now looking for an incentive from the city to try to finalize her supermarket and keep growing her business, where she has like 40, 45 people from the city working for her, and this will expand everything that she's planning to do and maybe employ more people from the city and keep providing the service. So now it will be, to me, it will be a shame if we deny these people this incentive that has been given to millionaires in the city. And these people that are not millionaires are looking for an incentive to continue to grow. So it's something to keep in mind, councilors, and it's been a long time waiting for them. And that probably was put on hold to let other areas where the millionaires were developing and actually taking advantage of these incentives. So it's time to give them an opportunity too, because they've been waiting. So I'm all in favor for this, and I hope you guys are too.
Councilor Expressing Infante.
Thank you, through you, Council President. Mr. McCarthy, as the Acting Director of Planning and Development, are you or the office, are we, I'm gonna say we, but are we working on some type of city growth plan to offset, housing and that aspect of development? It's undeniable that it's going to keep coming and it's going to keep growing. But we are behind on other aspects in our city that it's going to need, that will, how can I word this? That will need the resources for, in terms of making sure that, like, public safety, making sure that we have enough personnel for that, like our streets, maintaining our streets, stuff like that. Are we working on a growth plan to support the housing initiatives that we're seeing now and the ones that are going to come in the future?
There are several plans that are in the works. I think every 5 years we're required to develop what's called a housing development plan. I've been working on that with the Merrimack Valley Planning Commission over the last year. That's in the works. That's a 5-year one. It's required by HUD for us to produce. We also do comprehensive plans and several smaller ones. I've been with the city for a long time, for 20 years. We've never had in my tenure or in my memory before that a master plan. The city has never had a master plan. I think you might be referring to something of that kind, which links all these different things. So we have open space plans, we have transportation plans, we have smaller plans, but the city really could use a master plan. But that's my opinion.
Do you foresee a master plan perhaps being developed, or are there talks within our offices?
So I think the last time we actually hired an expert to do this was 23 years ago, and the city council at the time, I think, was not satisfied with the plan, and they fired the consultant, and that was the last time we've discussed it. The planning board, which is the agency which kind of oversees land development in the city, has suggested it on a couple of occasions more than 10 years ago, and it hasn't moved forward. Didn't get the support from either the administrations or the councils at the time. So I think, again, as a planner, I think it's a great tool, but that's exactly what it is, as a tool. And if we were to go down that road, I'd be thrilled to work on it, but again, it's above my pay grade to make those determinations. So.
Okay. Thank you. I'm going to work. I'm going to reach out to the administration. I think myself, and I know my colleague, Councilor LaPlante, have been vocal about a master plan. I've definitely been vocal, especially to the mayor's senior advisor, about a master plan. So I'm going to see what we can do and circle back, because I agree with you. I think we need one. We should have one.
Sure.
So, yeah, thank you for the information.
All right, any other questions in regard to this item?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
I want to know some parking plan over there because getting more housing.
Because the part of the reason this district was very easy to get accepted by the state for the HDIP is because it's part of an overlay district, which was designed to develop housing. And as part of that, when we did this years ago, and I think it was 2006 when this overlay was approved, we had to come up with parking plans and numbers to prove that there was more than enough parking to satisfy any development of housing. Now, there was, like, as I mentioned earlier, there's hundreds and thousands of square feet of either vacant land, mill buildings that are empty, or mill buildings that have been torn down. One of the developers is here today, is developing on a site where a building had burned down 30 years ago. So that's kind of what we're dealing with. So we had the study done, and the state approved it, that says there is sufficient parking within this district to satisfy the potential growth in the city on that. I think the numbers were several thousand units of housing could be developed in that area. Since that was done, I believe we've developed maybe 600 units over 4 programs, four different projects. And I think we have another 60 units in the works.
Thank you.
Councilor Blunt?
Council President, I make no apologies, and I know I've been up front very much for several years now on housing throughout the city. I think it just doesn't impact just one area, but because housing does impact the entire city. I just think there's one bit of information I've recently found out regarding density as it relates to the 2020 census, and I just want to share that with you, Council President, which is this. We are, I think, number 6 in the city for density in the Commonwealth, 6th most dense city in the Commonwealth. Number 1 is Somerville. Go in order: Somerville, Cambridge, Chelsea, Everett, Boston, Malden, and then our city. And then it goes after that, just to kind of round it out a little bit: Revere, Winthrop, Lynn, Brookline, Arlington, Watertown, and then Lowell, and then Medford. We are the most dense. And what is interesting about the top list is on there is those are all with MBTA. I think that each one of those communities that are more dense than us has a train or a subway that goes through, and if not a subway, they've got an MBTA bus, definitely, that goes through their area. And whenever we start saying we're going to do a little bit here, we're going to do a little bit there, the impacts, again, in aggregate, by itself, this is not harmful by itself. But when you start adding, Council President, all these things together, the mill conversions, the various new zonings that we're talking about. Plus, I mean, it's on the agenda this evening, and some of you have already been hit by, I think, by residents regarding the ADU, the accessory dwelling units, of which we are going to, and those of us in single family areas are going to be impacted dramatically, and potentially, in other areas of the city, they're also going to be impacted. So, to make the point here, before we go forward and start adding and allowing for more housing in the city, we need to take care of the things we haven't. Here's the secret. Don't tell anybody this. We haven't received any kind of information from the school department on projections for student enrollment. We just spent how much money for 2 schools in our city? And what I'm told is that's not enough. But yeah, we're going to continue to add more. Are we going to have the money to house and give our children the kind of education they deserve? That's a rhetorical question. But that's got to come across our mind at some point. We already started talking about parking a little bit, which is huge. I had a resident this evening talking about parking. It's gonna keep coming. So anyway, I'm not supporting this, not because I don't want to see anything good happening in other parts of this city. I want all of the city to be prosperous, all of the city to be fantastic, and a place that we all want to live in. But when it comes to adding without forethought and doing the right things in our areas, I think at some level I'd be committing malpractice because I'm voting for something that I know in the long run, my opinion, is not going to be advantageous for the very residents we want to represent. My opinion. Thank you, Council President.
All right. Before I continue with the second round of questioning, I want to expand the opportunity to Mr. McCarthy to explain in a single word what is the meaning of HDIP the TIF.
Yep. So
So
it's
just go in clarity, what's the benefit, what is the program about, the main reasons also why we're having this discussion
Sure,
tonight.
I'd be glad to. So the Housing Development Incentive Plan is a program that was developed by the state as an incentive for cities, gateway cities, to develop market rate housing from properties that are difficult to develop. And what they refer to as buildings that have already urban growth on them that might have been former mills, industrial sites, or other areas that the cost of demolition, the cost of rehabilitation, maybe environmental concerns, makes these properties very expensive to develop. And the incentive is put in on two parts. The state provides a tax credit incentive that's given out as awards on an annual basis. We've been lucky enough to have a couple programs in the city, couple of properties in cities receive those. And it also provides the city the opportunity to do a tie agreement, which is similar to a TIF, which is a tax incentive increment financing. The one that the city currently has is the minimum that the state allows. That's a 5-year TIF with a maximum of 50% credit off the tax. So that what that means is that the property, the base value of the property is taxed at what it was before the development starts. When the developer is completed and the value of that building is assessed, they would only pay a portion of those taxes for a period of 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Then it would incrementally get higher every year. I actually have tabled on your calendar, on your agenda, is another proposal to amend that tax rate to make it more generous for developers, but that's currently in budget, and we're discussing this at the administration level with the intent of bringing this forward in the next month or two.
Do you mind for making, mentioning names of people that have been receiving those?
Excuse me?
Do you mind mentioning projects that have received those benefits in the past?
So we had a development on Essex Street that was developed by a group of developers, and they received a tax grant as part of that. I think it's called the Millex property. I think that's the name of the project, and that's on Essex and Mill Street. The other project, they got the original one, and the reason that we first started this was a tax incentive was given to the Riverwalk properties, the Lapoli properties on Merrimack Street. So that was the first. So they got one of the first tax incentives, the tax credits back in 5 years ago when we first started this program. So the program's initially started for a 5-year review. We're at that point now where we're going to be going back to the housing department from the state to talk about this program going forward. And the administration would like to look at more areas within the north area, the north section of the city, to develop housing where it would make sense. But like I said, right now we're just looking at for the overlay because the state housing and development looks at overlay districts as already kind of being predetermined as appropriate avenues for doing it because of the smart growth the amount of study that went into doing those programs, the smart growth program, gives them the confidence that this area is a good area for the program. So like I said, we're pre-approved for this from the state. All we need is right now is your vote to allow these developers to to enjoy the tax incentives for this program.
Councilor Rosario?
Thank you, through you. And for you, colleagues, if we don't pass this, it's not going to prevent them to build housing. We're just giving them an incentive because it's going to take them longer to develop it. And like I said, simple example, Marisol, the owner of the fruteria, she's been fixing the whole street by herself, right? She spent almost $500,000 already just to fix the street and prepare the parking lot.
Yes.
From her own money. City hasn't given her a single penny. State hasn't given her a single penny. Danielito, you guys know Mr. Guzman has been trying to develop that. I mean, in that area. But it's not gonna, if we don't pass this, it's not gonna stop them for developing. It's gonna take them longer. And I think they should, honestly, because others millionaires have got that incentive without needing it. They have been given the opportunity to save some money or to give the incentive for them to develop the outrageous things that they have developed in the city. But these people now, after so many years, they get the opportunity. And we shouldn't deny it. Because they're going to continue to try to develop their own dream that they want, the business that they want. But they're only looking for a chance to save a couple of dollars to finalize whatever they had started. They already started it. And it's penny by penny or their own pocket that they spend it. So all I'm asking, and I'm asking you, if you guys are not, but they're going to continue to develop it. It's not going to stop develop the housing that they plan in there or whatever the plan that they have. They're only asking for us to approve this so they can get a little incentive and continue whatever they have planned and finish quicker. That's all. And that's why I'm looking for this to be approved also, and I'm supporting on this, because it's been sitting in here for so long while somebody else was getting the benefits. And now that they get a chance to get it, we're going to deny that when we have approved for somebody else's.
No, Councilor Rosario, we are debating. We're not saying that
No,
it's going to be the
no. And I'm saying, I mean, we shouldn't deny because we have approved for somebody else's, and they already took advantage of what is giving them the opportunity to save some money and develop whatever they have and they planned. So we shouldn't deny somebody else's that's been waiting for so long. And at the end of the day, it's every individual votes. But that's what I like to say. And this, if it doesn't go through, it's not going to stop them to develop whatever they have. They're not going to stop. It's just going to take them longer to develop whatever they have in mind.
Council President.
Councilor Luzon?
Thank you, Council President, through you. So the same the same help we gave to developers on the other side of the city, and I'm going to mention Merrimack as an example, it should be given to other neighborhoods. I'm here representing District B. And we know we are facing housing challenges. We need more housing. And it's my understanding that parking is not going to be an issue, especially in this area. We also are building a new school. Excuse me?
District B does have this incentive.
I refer to my district. Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair, Vice President. I refer to this district because people need housing. People need new units. And it's close to District B. No, I know it. Yes, thank you for, yes.
The overlay will cover some of District B too.
The point here, Councilor Rosario and Councilor Infanten, is that we are neighbors. We are neighbors. And moving this incentive to other neighborhoods, other part of the city, is going to help the entire city, not only District B. But my other point is that we have helped developers such as Lupoli. Why not give the same opportunity to developers as Mr. Guzman? And the owner also of the fruteria. So this is an opportunity to help the city, the entire city, by approving this initiative. So I ask my colleagues to join me in support of this item. It's not only going to benefit District C, it's going to benefit the entire city, because we all know that housing is a challenge in our city of Lawrence. Thank you, Council President.
Mr. McCarthy, back then when we approved this program, I believe it was 2017-18, something like that, right?
Excuse me?
Back then when we approved this program,
Yes.
I believe it was 17, around 18, around that time.
Yes. I think so.
Yeah.
Is-
When we
it's
approved
a
the
little over
program.
5 years ago.
Yeah.
So it might have been 19 or 18,
19,
19.
yeah. I remember when we approved the program, We have the first recipient of the program, De La Polis Properties. They came in front of us to get approved for 5 years, TIF.
Yep.
And that was in regard to develop market rate housing.
Right.
Not affordable housing, but market rate housing, which was something different that we didn't have in the past, and we always benefit affordable housing. Now we have a program that allow market rate housing to be also help, which is fair for the market.
It is.
But they come in front of us. I hear others that haven't come in front of the city council. Why?
For the HTIP program, the way it was set up and designed, because it was a fixed rate, that once the program is approved by the city council, the individual projects, as long as they qualify, no longer have to come in for a vote. So I think what we often confuse it with is the TIF agreements, which are the Economic Development Incentive Programs, which are called EDIPs. Those are negotiated in the EDIPs. We'll have one coming up in the next couple of weeks for another program. And they can range from 5 years to 20 years, and the rates can change. And in those situations, because it's not a fixed rate, we have to come back before the city council every time, because it affects the budget, affects the cost of it's a budgetary decision that the city council has authority over.
Yeah, but I mean, this is the thing. When we approve the program and we have the first recipient in front of us,
Yep.
asking for 5 years TIF or incentive, it was prorated 100% to 90% the first year. I mean, was exempt. At the end of the day, it is a tax exemption.
It is.
It is similar to the TIF. It's the concept is the same. What I'm asking is that for the matter, even though the agreement was not written that way, but for a matter of transparency, I think that those people that are asking to develop market rate affordable housing through this program should come in front of the council to have the project being known by the public that we are benefiting these projects by allowing that project to go, and essentially it's an exempt from taxes that we're giving out, and those taxes are being paid by the people. Essentially, it is a little bit of a kind of like, it's not ideal, for lack of a better word. So there is something that we can do about that.
What you're proposing has a couple of legal questions, some finance questions that I really can't answer at this juncture, that I'd love to be able to come back with information for you. It's something that we need to review with the state. Again, I will be going back to the state to talk about furthering this program over the next for another 5 years. Those are certainly questions that we can answer.
Porque no quería cargar dos.
A ver,
Y total, después cargo la mochila que pesa más que cargar la
Cancelo Reyes.
maleta.
No. Okay. That's just me.
As again, I was I came in late to the program when it was first designated, and the state had already made these guidelines. As I said, the city, when we adopted the program, adopted what's the state minimum. So that's so that's what everybody gets. It's 50% of the tax rate in the first year, 40%, 30%, 20%, and 10%, and then they're paying 100%.
All right. So essentially, what I'm just to be clear, we have two things in front of us. Well, I have two things in my mind: the amendment of the map,
right,
to get benefits. That's not been questioned. I'm supporting that.
So,
but I also would like to see later on that we, to be transparent to the people, that we brought up this item, not the overlay, not the program, the entire program, to make sure that the guidance of the program come in front of the city council when anybody's going to get benefit. Because at the end of the day, it's a budgetary item. We approved the budget, and a budget that is been presented by the mayor, and it's like we cannot just, the administration by itself can just not approve things like without like just because you know what I mean. It's like it is a conceptual issue. Based on principles. I mean, it is an issue to me,
Right.
to be honest with you.
What I can suggest is, as I mentioned earlier, I'm going to be in budget and finance. I still have another document for the
But
current.
that's a TIF. They have to.
No, this
come.
one's for the HDIP.
Okay.
It's to amend the HDIP, and maybe I can get somebody from the state to come to that committee, and we can answer some of those questions and get some determinations
Got it.
from our legal team. Again, this is just the map, and it's the
Yeah,
same.
with the map, we're good.
It's the same scenario for the amount of money that's being credited.
Right. Thank you, Madam Vice President.
Counselor Levy.
Thank you. Or
The incentive is for market rate development, and as a requirement, 80% of your project has to be market rate. You can do up to 20% affordability without being penalized. If you do more than 20% affordable, as we're all aware, there are dozens of different types of incentives for affordable housing. There's never been any incentive for market rate housing. Now, right now, the market is very strong for housing development, but I can remember years ago when you couldn't get market rate housing built in this city. And we went to the state over and over again, and I remember talking with, it was Senator Tucker at the time, Susan Tucker, that long ago, about there really should be some kind of a program to assist developers who want to come into a community like the city of Lawrence and build market rate housing. I'm all in support of affordable housing, but the city needs a wide variety of different types of housing because we have different types of population and we need to serve everybody. There's many. There's tax credits, like the low-income tax credits. There's a historic tax credits. There's several others, different grants, home funds, things of that nature that you can get. So there are. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. At this point, we're gonna go and call, there's a motion on the table to approve. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
It's a motion to approve made by Councilor Del Rosario, seconded by Councilor Santiago. Councilor Reyes on the motion to approve?
Yes.
Councilor Marmal?
Yes.
Councilor Santiago?
Yes.
Councilor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Councilor Luzon?
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante?
No.
Councilor Levy? Yes. Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
I'm sorry, Council President Rodriguez?
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this point, for the next item, the council president is recusing himself due to a potential conflict of interest. Now we have, next item, Madam Chair of the Housing Committee.
Item number 50724, acceptance of voluntary easements from the Essex Company for the Mass DOT Amesbury Street redevelopment project. This item was being addressed at the Housing Committee and was sent to full council with a favorable recommendation, and I submit that in the form of a motion.
Second.
Motion has been made, properly seconded by Councilor Del Rosario. Discussion? No discussion? Councilor LaPlante.
Just want to let there's a lot of easements, there's a lot of things happening in this area, and I think primarily in the downtown area of our city, if I understand the mapping correctly, and I just think it's needed, necessary, and glad that we are at the precipice, at the verge of going ahead and maybe supporting this and getting this stuff happen, because as the councilors say earlier, we need to look at the entire city, and it's important that we get this part of the city, get the kind of infrastructure that it deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Any other questions? I have, Counselor Luzon.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Vice President Infante. Is the Essex County the same company that owns the canal?
It is. The property we're talking about is the canal.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions or comments? All right, there's a motion on the table. Madam Clerk, can you please call the roll?
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor LaPlante.
Yes.
Counselor Luzon.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Santiago.
Yes.
Counselor Marmal.
Yes.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante.
No.
The council president has recused himself. There's 7 votes in favor.
Thank you. At this point, can you, Council President? It's not, we're done. Council President. Thank you. I would like to make a motion to untable item 416-24, surplus declaration of city property, Mount Auburn Street, I'm not gonna read, map 106, lot 47-20-1. 416-24.
Second.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
Counselor Marmal.
Yes.
Counselor Santiago.
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Luzon.
Yes.
Counselor LaPlante.
Yeah.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante.
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez.
I vote yes.
I would like to make a motion to approve.
Motion to approve, properly second.
Discussion.
Roll call, please.
Discussion.
Oh, discussion, Councilor LaPlante.
Yeah, so this is tabled. I don't remember why or what the situation was, and I wasn't prepared to vote on this tonight. But so a little refresher on this before we take the
Yes.
vote would be helpful. Thank you.
Through you,
Councilor
if I may,
President.
Council President, I had questions on this item. I didn't feel as Mr. Cirillo and Mr. McCarthy were presenting the item as what I was reading on the document. After further investigation, I found out that the appointed school, they made a decision to approve it. If the school system is okay with it, then I'm okay with it. No problem.
Any questions in regard to this? This come out of housing back then, and it was tabled as a request from Councilor Vice President Infante. Now we are ready to vote. Please, Madam Clerk, please call the roll. Mhm. Yep, and that was second by Councilor Rosario. Yeah, Councilor Rosario.
Thank you.
No, it was.
Councilor Levy.
Yes.
Councilor LaPlante.
Yes.
Councilor Luzon. Yes. Councilor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Councilor Santiago.
Yes.
Councilor Marmal.
Yes.
Councilor Reyes.
Yes.
Council Vice President Infante.
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez.
Vote yes. Motion carries. Any other items on the table matters? All right. We're going to new business.
Thank you.
Thank you. The first item on new business is item 51524, disband the 90 days appointment of Awilda Pimentel as a director of the planning development. This is going to the personnel committee. Item 51624, the authorization to spend $12,000 under the SRV Address Verification Program, ABP grant. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 51724, authorization to spend 10,728.51, telehealth kiosk project round 2. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 51824, the authorization to pay prior year's invoice for the amount of 1,390.19. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 51924, city grant criteria, Council Vice President Infante. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 52024, approve amendment to city zoning ordinance to allow accessory dwelling unit. This is going to be going to Ordinance Committee, and I also going to refer to the Housing Committee to discuss the housing portion of it. Item 52124, approve tax incentive TIF, tax increment finance agreement TIF between Esperanza Academy and Esperanza Academy. This is going to the Budget and Finance Committee. Item 52224, approve the grant of utility easement for Lazaro House construction project. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 52324, handicap parking 163 Spruce Street, Ordinance Committee. Item 52424, handicap parking 42 Andover Street. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Handicap parking in 21 Walder Street. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Handicap parking on 18 Fulton Street. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Remove handicap parking signs on 53 Willow Street. This is going to Ordinance Committee. One-way Columbus Ave. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. No parking in Warwick Street. From Haber Street to Dwell Street, outside. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. One-way Tennis Street, from Arlington to Woodman Street. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 53224, resident parking, Brownfield Street. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 53324, resident parking on 70, I'm assuming that is Irving Street. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 524, resident parking, Trinity Street, and this is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 53524, no parking one side from Boswell Street on the outside. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 53624, no overnight parking, 396 Water Street. This is going to Southside. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 53724, four-way stop sign section of Milton Street and Law Street. And this is going to the Ordinance Committee. 538 Earth Day cleanup, April 19, 2025, from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Companion Common. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 53924, resolution against proposed Rickingham Mall Casino to protect Lawrence residents and businesses. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. Item 54024, dedication of corner of in honor of Achilles Knowledge Espinosa. 2K5. This is the corner of Tremont Street and Park Street. This is going to the Ordinance Committee. We're going to committee meetings.
Council President, I believe the last one is a late file. It's noted on the note.
I don't have it here. Okay. Yes, this is a late file. We're going to need to take a vote. 7 votes. 7 votes to be added to the agenda and then probably refer to a committee. Can I get a motion, councilors? Motion to suspend. Item 5.
Motion to accept?
Second.
Counselor Reyes?
Yes.
Counselor Marmal?
Yes.
Counselor Santiago?
Yes.
Counselor Del Rosario?
Yes.
Counselor Luzon?
Yes.
Counselor LaPlante?
Yes.
Counselor Levy?
Yes.
Counselor Vice President Infante?
Yes.
Council President Rodriguez?
I vote yes.
Council President, just as a reminder for that one, I'm not sure if it's in our packet, I don't think it is, but if we can provide some background information on why, that'd be helpful. Thank you. Tuesday at 7.
And it's Wednesday at 7.
Wednesday at 6.
Public safety, no, because I have first. Public safety,
We have public safety and personnel.
we'll do public safety Tuesday at 6. 6:30.
6:30?
6:30.
6:30 is too short.
That's only for one item.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be extended.
Monday at 6.
Okay, just leave it like that.
Yeah, Tuesday at 6.
6:30.
6:30. Personnel Wednesday at 6:30. I would like to schedule a committee of the whole for Monday, November 18th at 7 p.m. To adjourn. What do we have for Tuesday?
Ordinance at 7, and you had said personnel at 6:30, no, public safety at 6:30.
I have to change personnel to Tuesday. Let's do public safety on Thursday. What time? All right, we'll do public safety at 6:30, 7. 7.
Public safety at 7 o'clock on the 14th, which is Thursday,
Yep.
and then,
And then personnel at 6:30 on Tuesday.
6:30 on Tuesday, the 12th. Okay.
Council President, do we really need to have a housing committee meeting on next week? I'm not even sure what we even have to discuss for housing.
We have an item that was sent, that's in relation to the accessory dwelling units.
Isn't that already going to the ordinance committee with that? Okay. Is that the only issue that you're going to be, that housing is going to be dealing with? Yeah. I have a conflict that night, which is why I'm saying that, and two of us are already gonna, on the housing committee, are already gonna be listening to it at the ordinance committee already.
So if you want, I could switch
Sorry, is that, we talked about this before, about sending things to two committees. We're essentially bringing the same people 2 nights in a row to talk about the same issue, and then coming a third night before the full council. And we talk about money and people and trying to be better off with folks, and I just don't know. I would argue gently that we just do it once to one committee. In this case, it would be the ordinance committee on the ADUs, for example, because it will be an ordinance change that we're talking about here, rather than doing a housing. It's not really a housing. I mean, it's housing clearly, but it's not like we're doing a surplus or a disposition of property. It's creating an ordinance.
Essentially, Councilor LaPlante, what we're doing here is, when it comes to the ordinance change, the ordinance is strictly to the ordinance. When it comes to the housing issue, it's gonna be, we're gonna go into the details of the impact of the housing aspect of this matter. You have a conflict with that, I understand. Obviously, you're saying that you have a conflict in your schedule, but obviously, you're saying that you have a conflict based on principles. I mean, what's your conflict?
I've got a conflict with principle and a conflict on schedule, so there's two conflicts that I
All
have.
right, that's fine, you can be absent.
So,
I'll be here.
Council President, question, this item, the 520, needs to be heard by both ordinance and housing?
I believe it does.
Is there an issue, that it gets sent to ordinance first and then housing?
That's what we're doing. The housing, the ordinance is gonna be here on Tuesday.
Oh,
But it's different perspective and different issues, perhaps. Ordinance change is ordinance change. The housing aspect of it, we're going to talk about, we're going to go more deep into the housing issue that might bring, or the housing benefits. Yeah. At 6:30, we have the audit, the state's audit in the city of Lawrence, starting at 4. And they're gonna go for about 2 to 3 hours. So it will be a challenge to book another meeting
Before 7.
before 7.
So, does someone have motion?
Motion to adjourn?
There's a motion to adjourn, properly second, discussion. All those in favor, please say, roll call, please.
Counselor Levy.
Yes.
Counselor LaPlante.
Yes.
Counselor Luzon. Yes. Counselor Del Rosario.
Yes.
Counselor Santiago.
Yes.
Counselor Marmal.
yes.
Counselor Reyes.
Yes.
Thank you. Council Vice President. Yeah. Council President.
Yes. All right, thank you, Councilor. See you next week.
All right, so talk to me about the thing that you were gonna go post it.